Welcome to the Engineering Economics course. This is Luis Castejon. I am a professor from the Telecommunication Engineering School, and we are going to start our Engineering Economics course. We will be using, as you know, English as the only language. So I hope everybody will benefit from that in terms of having that experience. You in terms of learning a new subject in English, and me teaching it in English. So I hope we all of us we not only learn but also we enjoy in the course. So I think we are some people here now live. You are seeing my picture. Also, I hope you are listening me, my voice. And also in the screen you see the different application I will be running during the course. Now we are in the Moodle. So I'm going to connect to the engineering economics of the Moodle and seeing the chat. So what we have is a live chat. Here you can find in the general issues about the course section of the website. You can find here the live chat to participate in lectures. So some of you, I don't know how many, you are at home or in your offices or at libraries, so using your own computer. So you can ask the teacher through the live chat. So if you link here, then we will see the room, and then here you can ask. I don't know how, but I think it will be easy. So if you have any question, I see here in the chat, in the live chat, I see Ignacio. Hello, how are you? And also I see to Alejandra. Alejandra, how are you? So if you have any question, please ask through the live chat. I suppose I will receive an emerging window or something like that, or message appearing in my computer. So I hope to be aware of your message. If not, I will learn for the next time. So we are going to start the lectures. First of all, I would like to introduce about the course. Today is our first day, so I'm going to try to explain the course objectives and the course evaluation and so on. So as you know, the main objective of this course is learning about engineering economics. What is engineering economics is what I'm going to learn. In general, we can define engineering economics as it's a mixed discipline, a mixture of economics and engineering. So I think it's quite useful and interesting for any engineer studying and practicing engineering profession, because at the end, when you are working, 90% of your work will be related with economic decisions about going or not going to invest in a new asset, in a new project, or estimating the cost of a new product line, or planning about the future. And this kind of task increase as you have more experience. But I think it's quite interesting and quite necessary for all of us in our first years of professional experience, having such kind of knowledge. About the course, I think the main, when you will finish the course, what we can call the exit capabilities, which kind of capabilities will you get after the course. I think you will be able to plan from the point of view of economics, of cost, of capital expenditures, of return for your company, to plan any kind of engineering projects. So after that planning, after those plans, your company or yourself investing will have an adequate opinion about if invest or not, or whether invest or not invest in this project. So I think this is a big issue for companies to decide to invest or not to invest in a project. Because many of the companies we will be working, you and me, in the engineering fields, any of the engineering studies we can study here in UPM, like industrial, civil engineering, architecture, agricultural, mining, or telecommunication, any kind of engineering. At the end, we summarize our work in a project that must be assessed in terms of its financial or economic feasibility. So I think this is the main value of this course, to be able to do that. About the lecture, as you know, this course is going to be developed through video conference, a mixture of video conference and your own work through distant learning in real-time sessions like we are now attending. Video conference, we plan to have about, I think, 8 lectures. You have in the Moodle site, you have in the main section of NGCon, we have here, okay, general issues about the course. You have here an Excel worksheet of the calendar, spreadsheet, the calendar of course, lectures, and activities. You can open it. Okay, so I'm going to open it. And we see here in the worksheet the calendar. We see here the months in the B column, and I have colored with orange one the video conference, the real-time sessions, and the schedule is today and tomorrow. We will have 2 different sessions of 2 hours each one, and then the next week we will change the days for sorry, because the headings, the column of the headings are in Spanish. So this is Tuesday, next Tuesday, and next Thursday we will have another 2 lectures. So after this week and the next week, we are going to have a total of 8 real-time lectures. So what are going to do with what we have learned in those weeks is to make or to start to make the problems that will be the main part of your final marks. So during March we will not have any lecture, and then we will return after Easter. As you know, Easter is the last week of March. So then the next week or after Easter, the first week, we will have 2 lectures, one the Thursday, another one the Friday, in the 4th and the 5th of April. And then in the next week, we will have another lecture, so a total of 6 hours. And then we will have 3 weeks more to practice with another problems. And then the first week of May, on Friday, we will have the last video conference lecture. That lecture will be special in the sense that we are going to present the case study you are going to develop in groups that will be your part of your final marks. So you will have all the May, all May, the month of May fully without any kind of lectures, in order to have time to write your case. So that is the calendar. And what is the objective of the problems is to practice what we have learned. So we are going to learn this week and the next week the basis of engineering economics, and then having the opportunity to practice with those problems. How many problems? But I think will be quite easy problems, and you will not need no more than perhaps 1 hour per week or 1 hour and a half per week to solve them. Something like 4 or 5 or 6 problems each week. And then the second block of contents of the course, we are going to celebrate during April. This is the advanced engineering economics, and we will be studying and learning the different methodologies used to evaluate, to assess engineering projects in terms of their economics. So the basis we are going to learn now this week to practice along March, and then in April we will come back to learn the advanced concept of engineering economics, and then having 3 weeks to practice with those advanced methodologies, and then having a month for developing and answering your case, the final case. So have anybody a question? I will watch the chat. I hope I can open a new sheet here with the live chat. Okay. Very good. So if you have any question, Ignacio or Alejandra, please ask through the chat. Okay, so we can talk also about the final marks you are going to get after the course. How are you going to be assessed? Then we can use what is in the course description. I'm going to respect that. The UPM. This is the UPM site. Not I want the UPM, the main UPM website. upm.s. Okay, so students, I think here studies. No, I think is where is it? For others, okay, I'm going to watch here. I don't see the text. No, I don't remember what is the link of studies. Okay, here in the academic organization section, the global offer for catalog, or here, I'm sorry, here, free, okay, this one. The elective catalog, okay, this one. And then we have here the second semester, engineering, economics here. Okay, so what are the, I don't know if you can see the screen, it's not, I'm going to make a zoom, yes, here. So 125, I think, good, okay. So, your marks will be composed of three different items. One is a test online we will be putting in the website of the Moodle, and it will be done at the end of the course. Working group, I mean the case study is a 60%, and then the attendance of video conference and the different newsroom participation also will be assessed with a 10%. So that is the final mark structure. Okay, so I think after having presented all the details of the course, have you got any question? The remote students? Yes? Do we have a question? Ignacio? Yes, Ignacio, I don't see in my live chat. Where?
Dale a entrar a la sala.
Okay, okay, thank you. 3 new messages. Okay, thank you. I didn't know. Sorry, how many members are able to be each in group? Well, I think 2 members will be okay, but we can talk about it if you consider that it's better to do it alone because you are. It's difficult to interact with other people in another school. We can try to do alone, everyone alone, or we can try to do it in couples. And higher number of 3, okay, it will be okay. So we can talk about that through the course. So have you got, Ignacio, any preference of doing alone or in couples or in groups of 3? Please, Ignacio. Okay, we will see later your answer. So then let's go to the first lecture. One issue was inside my head when I was preparing the course. Of course, you know that this is the first time I'm teaching this course and the first time also teaching in English. So it's a challenge for, at least for me, I hope also for you. We have not many opportunities to interact in English. And I have developed all the material for this course. You see here in the website, you can see the first 7 lectures, which, I mean, they are not 7 different days. I mean, it's more or less each one is about 40 minutes. So we hope to see today at least the number 0, the number 1, and part of the number 2. And then the next days we will see we will be learning the rest. One of the ideas I had is to use a reference book. There are this discipline in Spain and even in Europe is not well developed. What I mean with that is that many engineering schools, I think all the European and Spanish engineering school, they study this kind of knowledge about net present value of project, the project cash flows, and so on. But I think this is just part of a course, a general course on management. So it's not a main focus the Spanish university, engineering Spanish university devote to engineering economics. The intention of this course is to provide a bigger a bigger experience, a bigger knowledge about engineering economics, and having a deeper knowledge about engineering economics. So what then the next task I have to do was to decide if I will be using, because this course is typical in the American universities. All the American engineering universities, all they have this subject inside this course, inside their plan, their studies plan. So engineering economics is a quite mature subject for them, and there are very good books, as the one I have recommended, which is the Chan S. Park Fundamentals of Engineering Economics. You see here in the website, in the Moodle, and also you see here the price of the book. And I think is for me it will be desirable that we work with this book, but I know that I cannot do compulsory for everybody. So what I suggest is to use this to buy, because I've been looking for in the different libraries of UPMs and in UPM, and I haven't found any book entitled Engineering Economics, not book about that. So it reflects the situation that I have mentioned, that this is not a worry in our study plans. So what I suggest is, if you want, you can buy, because it will be a very useful book for you during all your professional life, not only for this course. And I have developed the course throughout those books. This one, the Chan S. Park, and other ones. So what I have been preparing the materials is looking for the different textbook and deciding what is the best for our course. So I hope I have done right for you. So first lecture is introduction. So is what we are going to start now. I think, I hope, or I suggest you, all of you, to print, to make a hard copy of the slides. I have printed in just one slide per sheet, because I think there are many numbers, and it's better, I think, to have big, to watch, have a clear picture of those numbers. But if some of you prefer to print in order to save paper and printing cost, you can print yourself in the Acrobat. You can print in 2 pages per sheet, so it's up to you to do it. But I prefer to offer the material in its original format, which is 1 slide per sheet. Then we are going, so I suggest, remember please, I suggest to have a hard copy of the slide in your desk during the lectures. Okay. I think I have a comment here. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, study in the seat. Hello, Ignacio. So you are a student from the Telecommunication Engineering School. I hope to see you in our school, so I prefer to do with some of my panels. Okay, so Alejandra say, I just wanted to say that I also prefer in groups. So Ignacio and Alejandra, and I know Alejandra is a student from Telecommunication Engineering School. You can join if you want, Ignacio and Alejandra, and make it in groups. At least you have 2 members of the groups. So, and then, as I was saying, we are going to start the presentation. I'm going to use the PowerPoint. Okay. So you see in your screen. Okay. So first slide. The first lecture is to have a general overview of what kind of things we can do with engineering economics, and excuse me, I'm going to have my pens, and the kind of things that we are going to learn, and the kind of things in general, not only we as an engineers, but also all the society, our parents, or brothers or sisters, or anybody who has some money, savings, small or big savings, thinks about how to get or how to have return from that money. So that's the main goal of engineering economics, but we are using that kind of financial return of our saving. We are going to apply to the field of engineering projects. So let's start with the second slide. And let's talk about wealth. Wealthy people. I think you can have an open window in your web navigator, like Google Translate or something, any translator. I think Google Translator is a good one. You can you can make a consult about what is wealth. So I hope all of you know what is wealth and what is wealthy people, what we call also millionaires. Wealthy people are people with money. How much money? Lot of money. Millions of coins and notes. They are millionaires, and that's at least in the press they call the wealthy people. No, I'm using data from the wealth report of the Wall Street Journal.com. You can find if you look for it in the Wall Street Journal or in Google, and you will find the data. No, so we are going to talk about money. Money is something good and perhaps sometimes it's dirty, but in general is what we make us to live with certain life level, like having or living in a house, rented or bought or own it, having a car or not, or having money for taking the public transport, the tube or the bus. And how do we get that money to spend in such conventional activities like living in a house or taking a bus? This money proceeds from in that case of people who are working, the workers, from their salaries or wages, or in that case of students having not a main job, probably from their families or from the public grants and so on. But this is money that has been generated by someone or by a group of people, the state, and this money is what is the foundation of wealth. In the case of people with a lot of wealth, millionaires, but for us, for me and for you, it's wealthy people in terms of having some money to spend and to go to have a dinner or to go cinema or to go to the petrol station to put some gas and so on. And we are going to think about how is the United States population in terms of wealth, and those numbers surprise me really, because we see, as you know, a lot of poor people, not only in underdeveloped countries but also in the US. But let's go to talk about wealthy people. As the second slide tells us, there are in the United States 8.6 million households with a total net worth, which means money. Net worth in terms of net, it means that it's the money you have least, minus your principal residence. No? So if you have a house, we are not going to include in the net worth that the price or the value of that house. So there are 8.6 million households with more than 1 million. So it's a number incredible, no? $1 million. If we estimate that, we calculate that figure comparing with the number of households, is not included in the slide, but for you, I say to you, to all of you, that the number of households in the US are 115 million, so 115 million. So if we calculate the percentage, that 8.6 millions in terms of the 115 millions, it is 7.5% of household. Oh, it's a very big. So what this suggests to us, I think is a main lecture from this slide, is that which kind of activities do the US population or the US households to be or to have such a big net worth. And probably we will discover that, as in the slide, in the fourth bullet, we say why those households are so rich. Millionaires by occupation, and they are mainly 17% managers of different kind of companies. Educators, 12%. It makes me. It is quite strange here in Spain, or mainly in Spain, that an educator has such a big worth. But in the case of the US, the universities are quite valued by population, and people pay a lot of money for universities, for having their studies. And the professors, teachers are quite well paid. The Harvard Business School, not only Harvard, Texas University, or LEA University, they earn money. Corporate executives are people in the main business of US. Also, we find entrepreneurs and business owners, 60%, and then professional like attorneys or accountants. So that implies that these people, managers, educators, corporate executives, entrepreneurs, business owners, and attorneys, or so on, they create a lot of value from their job. So that's the reason they have such big worth. And what is behind those business? Probably innovation, engineering projects, and so on. So what is the importance of what are we talking about? Going to the slide number 3, we see in terms of the main picture, we see the number of in terms of percentage. I think 8.6. The soft green line is 1 million, no? Okay, so the 8.6. We see here from 1997 to 1911 year, we see different waves, no? Of period of increasing wealth and periods of decreasing wealth. We are experiencing crisis, so those are crises. And so what is trying to going ahead on our content is thinking about not in those rich people, but perhaps trying in our retirement. You are now 22, 23, or 24 years old, so it's far away, your retirement. Something like 42 years from now. If we are going to retire at 65 years old, it's 24 years from now. And you have a wealth, quite worth job, and you see what is the public pension system ensuring you for when you will be in that situation of retirement, and you see that amount is not enough to live, to keep your current standard of living, and then you plan to have savings at that age of 65 years old. And you say today, okay, I would like to have, when I will be retired, 1 million euros. It's a big quantity, a big amount, sorry. It's a big amount. But anyway, let's think about having 1 million when I will be retired. And let's imagine you have an investment proposal that generates from your savings 5% every year. So then what you have to do now with your 23 years old is starting to make savings. Every month you have to save part of your money to generate in the future such big amount of 1 million, 42 years old, 42 years later. So if you start this month, I will say, according to my calculation and according to the calculation you are going to learn, if you want to have in 42 years from now, when you will be retired, $1 million, and you have financial opportunities to invest your savings at a 5% yearly, you have to save every month 584 euros. And the next month, you will put again in your savings account another 584 euros. And then every month, you will be making such savings, and they will be paid 5% every year. So at the end, 42 years from now, you will have 1 million euros. Well, it sounds good. But who has in Spain that amount of money free to save? 584. It's a big amount, but anyway, that's the kind of things we have to reflect. What we have in the slide number 5 is different plans, savings plans with different age. So you are now in the starting age of starting the savings, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So for example, in my case, which I am in the middle of the 40s, if I have opportunities to invest my money at a 5%, and I want to have 2 millions, it's quite crazy, but that's the kind of things that an American citizen thinks about, is to save money for the future. It's something that we in Europe and also in Spain, we don't plan. We don't think about our future because we think the state will solve our wealth in terms of having a pension. What we are seeing in this last year and this one, that the government cannot pay big pensions, at least as committed in previous years, because increasingly we have more and more benefits, more people having benefits from pensions, and also we have less people paying social security in the active workforce because due to the high unemployment rate we suffer. So what I have to do in my case with 40 years old if I have such a 5% investment, opportunity is to devote 3,360 euros per month for in the next 25 years to have 2 million. So what is the message from that is that we have to start making savings today if we want to have our future with better wealth than we have today. So if, for example, an engineer now is retired, I mean, not in such kind of temporary employment regulation we are experienced, which are kind of strange in terms of financial. But for example, if you retire, an engineer retires with 60%, he has been paying all year his social security, probably will get the maximum pension, pension in Spain. I'm not sure, but perhaps it's 2,100 or 200 euros a month. So if you want to have a higher wealth, you have to start now to make savings. And that is the kind of things we are going to learn in terms of being as a person, not evaluating engineering projects, but in our private life. So let's talk that instead of investing our money in quite safe investment, like having a deposit in a bank at a 5%, and we decide that we need or we want to get more return from our money, higher than 5%, but of course, at the cost of having more risk. So let's go to the stock market. We have here what an American investor, what an American stock, the Standard & Poor's is the index, the main index, like the Spanish one, which is IBEX 35. The American, they have the Standard & Poor's. And if you invest your money every year, if you invest €1 at the starting year, for example, in the year, for example, in the 2012, last year I have data. If you have invested €1, the 1st of January of 2012, you will have got like 12% of return. So the price of the stock you have bought have increased 10-12%. That means that chart. What we see here is that the annual return is quite variable, is not stable, and also we can lose a lot of money. We see here the depression, the famous 29 depression, which was one of the biggest depression we had in the modern economic world. It decreased more than 40%. So a lot of people lost their wealth. Lost, I mean, if they sold their stock. If they don't sold, they don't have to lose their money. We see here another big crisis in the 70s, in the early 70s, the oil crisis. The oil crisis in the first years of the 70s. And we see here the famous or the actual financial crisis in the 2008. So money return you can obtain, you can get higher, but at the cost of more risk. What is the average return, annual return? So if I put every year €1 in the stock and Standard & Poor's, I will get in this 10th of 2002 and 2012, we will get an annual rate of 8.71%. It's very good, 5% is much higher than 5%, but at the risk of losing your money. So if we have invested €1 in 1928, we invested €1, and today we will have that euro if we invested in the Standard & Poor's stocks. We will have a worth of more than $180,000. So this is a big amount. As you see here, this is the annual return you will be obtaining. And that is one of the main keywords in the course, which is compounded value. We are going to see in the next days what is the compounded interest rate. Let's continue talking about worth. And now we are going to talk about our engineering degree. How much is it worth for society? We can go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the United States, is like the employment service, public service here in Spain. The public department which is responsible of all the labor statistics and employees, salaries, and so on. And we see here what is the 50% of engineers, how much are they paid every year. We say the median, which is the 50%, as we have a statistical distribution which could be quite spread. And the 50% of American engineers earns that money. For example, if you would be a petroleum engineer, you will get an annual salary of $140,000. You know that $1 is something as 0.74 euros. So $1 is 0.74 euros. €1 is $1.36. So if we convert from the dollar currency to the euro currency, we will have that a petroleum engineer will earn a year 84,420 euros. So if we compare, for example, an electrical and electronic engineers, is similar to telecommunication engineer or to industrial engineer with the electrical specialty in Spain. They earn in US $87,000, which are more or less 64,000 euros, which is much higher than the average payment here in Spain for telecommunication engineers. Could be 35,000. And we see here American employees, they are more than 80%, 64,000. So that creates for us an idea of the level of standard of living they have and the kind of value added of their activities, of their business or their projects. And so we would like to be such kind of engineers, creating such worth for us and for our companies. So the main message for your personal lives that you can reach from the engineering economics course is, if you want to increase or to have a better wealth in your future, start saving early, because the compounded power that the interest rates have is quite powerful, as we are going to see. And the next slides, you have several basic knowledge about what the information of a British consumer wanting to get or to save or to invest his or her money, the kind of commercial information he receives or she receives from a commercial bank. So what I have done is I have chosen the UK Santander Bank. You know, the Santander Bank is the Spanish bank, and they are a big bank worldwide. And one of the main branches of Santander Bank is in the UK. And they act and they make business with the Santander Bank trading mark, and they trade with that mark. So if you go to the UK Santander Bank and then you click on the saving accounts, you will get that information. And because why I include in the slide is because I think it will be good for you to know the kind of words, in English words, they use to talk about savings. So if you would be an investor living in the UK and wanting to make some return from your savings, you will go to the savings accounts section of the website of Santander UK. I think we can see. Okay, Maria del Carmen entró. Okay. So then, okay, this window, for example, this one. Santander UK CEO UK. So that's the Santander Bank. You see here COC UK. It's the branch of Santander and then you use here. You see a personal. We are personal individuals. Current accounts is what we call a conventional account, bank account. We see here a credit cards. All of us, we know what is a credit card. Insurance, loans, we need money. Mortgage, we need to buy a house. It's also a loan. A loan, for example, is I want to buy a new car. I don't have that money, so I ask for a loan. What is a mortgage is I want to buy a new house. I don't have money, so I ask for a mortgage. Both are money that you borrow from the bank. And you see here is the main target of our course, savings and investments. And you see here the different kind of saving and investment Santander UK offer us. They call the instant access account, the cash ISA. We will see now what are ISA. Fixed rate bond, savings for children. Oh, look, savings for children. That means that parents are worried about the wealth of their children in the case, for example, they die, or in the case when they will be going to university, they want to, or they need to spend a lot of money paying their studies in quite prestigious universities, which are expensive, and then you have to start now to save for the education of your children. This is UK. This is not Spain. Also, you have saving accounts that you can generate return according to some interest rates. Index-linked savings bonds, a kind of investment, which are bonds. And then let's, for example, go to the fixed instant access account. It's flexible branch, no? Cash ISAs. Okay. And what is ISA? And we are seeing different between our country, and we are living hard, strong times in our university and of course in all the society. But we have seen by now big difference between how we face our lives and how Americans face their lives. For example, not much Spanish, we save money for future of our pension. We trust in the state to give us that money. What we have seen is that American people, they start saving money thinking about their retirement because the state doesn't preserve their pension. It's a private issue. Second thing we have seen is that people saves in the UK, also even in the US, saves for their children, for going to the university, the tuition that they will be paying for university. You ask many people in Spain, have you got any savings for the university of your kids? And they will say, no, this is a public system, and I hope to afford that amount of 1,000 or 1,500 euros per annum. Okay, so another third fact. The third fact I'm going to explain the difference between the different ways to face our lives. What is the ISA? Okay, so I'm going to explain. This information is in the slides, of course. We see here the ISAs. Okay. What is an ISA for an British? And let's look how our government, our state, consider our savings and compare with the UK case. What is available for the UK citizens? An ISA. What is an ISA? Every year we are going to read. Every year we each, so any British citizen, I suppose any taxpayer, British citizen, get an ISA allowance to encourage us to save tax efficiently. So you take the advantage of yours and we get your money working as hard. Okay, so we have a range of cash offering different levels of access. By this date, the 5th of April 2013, you can invest up to 11,000 pounds in an ISA. What happened with those ISAs is that you don't pay any taxes from the return you get from that 11,000 pounds you have invested. What does it mean? Okay, imagine our families, our parents, or us ourselves. When your parents have 6,000 euros in savings, go to the bank. Usually we go to the bank and ask to the bank manager, what will you offer for my 6,000 euros? And they will say, okay, I will offer you an interest rate of 2%. And then you will obtain for every 1,000 euros, you will get 20 euros, 2%. So for your 6,000, you will get 120 euros. What happened? That this money is subject to tax paying. So you will not receive 120 euros as a return of your investment. You will receive a 21% less. Where does it go? Is that 20%? This goes to the tax system. So have we got any Spanish family enough incentives to make savings? If we compare with British citizen, we see Spanish one, we don't have any kind of incentives, because all our investment returns are entitled to pay tax. What happened with the British? That you have 11,000 pounds, which are something like 15,000 euros, without paying any kind of taxes from the return you get from them. So what is the incentive the British people have? To save money. What is the incentive an Spanish citizen have to save money? To pay more taxes. What will be doing a Spanish family? Probably spending their money. And this is not good because, as you don't know perhaps, but I have to explain you, that the savings of a society, those savings to invest in new machineries, in new roads, in new many capital goods, which are quite wealth for society. If you don't make savings and then you spend that money as a consumption, that creates just wealth for the person, the people who receive that money you're spending, but no more. So that's the important saving system with the right tax incentives. This is the third difference of the US. Okay, for example, we see here in the slide number 12, the fixed rate bonds is that you put your money away for a fixed period of a year or more with the option to choose monthly or annual interest. So you have money, you put money away in a bank account, and then you are paid every month or every year an interest from that money. This is a fixed rate. What is a fixed rate? That rate is the one you agreed when you sign the bond, the deposit. Is not variable according to the financial markets, as there are other rates. So let's finish this part of the lecture. You see here different, for example, the children's savings. Santander also offers savings specifically designed for you to save for a child's future or let them manage their own savings. Okay. And also you have the opportunity to have more risk, to earn higher returns over the medium and long term, but at a higher risk, as we see here. So that's the difference of a deposit or savings in an account and the difference with investment. Investment is buying Telefonica shares or buying Santander shares or in the stock market. You may earn higher returns, but perhaps you can lose your money. So it means that that kind of investment has a higher risk than savings. So if you have included here a glossary at the end of this lecture about different words, I will include in a separate file at the end of the course, at the end in the Moodle site, the glossary and different terms of bank or the financial industry, like for example capital. When I say capital, is the amount of money you invest. This is the capital. Okay. What is a fixed rate? As we were talking, that a rate of interest that will not change during the term of the account investment. So you can have a look at this table and learn different terms. What is an ISA? You see here. What is an investment? Typically, investment is placing of money with a firm over a medium to long term, which buys and sells assets, stocks, bonds, or something like that, with the aim of achieving growth and income for the investor. So, and you see here, the gross is the full amount of money you return without any kind of taxes. What is the tax in the UK? Quite similar to the Spanish one, is 20%, and in Spain we have the 21%. But remember that with ISA accounts, you don't pay taxes on capital gains. Capital gains are the interest rate you return from your savings. So after investing your money, you will have a gross return, but in terms of being practical, you will have a net. What is the net? After following deduction of taxes. Okay. So I think we can have a break of 5 minutes. And then coming back, please, to the lecture number 2. So if you have any question, you can try now to ask it or to say in the middle. Okay, say thank you. Welcome again. We are going to start the second part of the lecture. I would like to ask you if you have any question. Please use the chat from the previous part of the lecture. And then also I would like to remember other members of the other students from the course. If I don't know if they are in the chat session, so I know that an student is in the course if he's in the live chat. If he didn't, if some of you are watching me and listening me, but you haven't clicked in the live chat, I don't know if you are there. So we cannot mark your present for thinking about your final mark. A part of we have been talking. Part of the final mark is attendance to the lecture. So please, to be aware to be aware of your presence in the lecture. Please link the live chat link here, and I will know who of you is in the lecture. So let's continue then to the lecture number 2, and I'm going to open it. So is here. Let's see, engineering economics slide. Okay,